Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be bringing you a review of The Secret History by Donna Tartt. As you're aware, I've been promising this review since last week, so here it finally is. So, to give a brief overview of The Secret History, it was published in 1992. It has been given the accolade of a modern classic. So, it is modern in that sense, but it is not modern in the sense of it was published very recently. I wanted to tell you about how I acquired this book. I think it's really interesting to hear how people get things, whether they are given them as gifts or whether they choose them themselves. So The Secret History was given to me by my flatmates who had read it when he was younger. It was the book that got him really into reading and literature in general. The basic story is that there's a young man called Richard Papin, and he is the main character. It's all told through his eyes. It's written in the first person. It's about him going to a small college called Hampton College in Vermont and getting into the prestigious and exclusive classics course. There are only 5 students, including him, in it, and it's run by an enigmatic professor called Julian Moreau. It is revealed right at the very start of the book, the first page, so I'm not spoiling anything, that Richard and his classmates have killed one of their other classmates called Bunny. They seem to have knocked him off a cliff and he's died. So it is a murder mystery almost, but not in the sense of who has done it, but why they have done it. In the middle of the book, Bunny is killed, and then the second half of the book deals with the repercussions. When you reach that spike in the book that everything is built around, i.e. Bunny's death, I felt that I really liked the characters at that point. I really felt that they were doing the right thing, and I thought that they were doing it for good reasons. And in the second half of the book, as they deal with the aftermath and there's a massive search to try and find the body, they think he's gone missing, they eventually find it, there's an FBI investigation, you start to see some of the characters unravelling and doing things that you did not expect of them and revealing their true nature. These are the good points. The language, as I said, is beautiful. You really get the sense of the place, the sort of wildness of the woods, the actions are described, the people are described in such beautiful ways. It's really gorgeous to read. There's lots of little nerdy references to Greek and Latin, and I suppose you would also like this if you were very into the studying of English language. So there's one part very near the start where they're trying to translate something and they're trying to work out the best tense to do it, and Richard comes up to them. This is before he is allowed into their inner circle and suggests, oh, maybe the locative would work here, and they get very excited about that. If you think that that is horribly snobbish, you might not like this book. Another thing I really liked is it plays you so well as a reader. So much of the time you have no idea what is going on because Richard is new to the group, he's somewhat excluded. They end up doing very weird things sometimes. You really want to know what's happening, but at the same time she doesn't let things slip. You don't get little cliches of, oh, that's going to turn out to be this thing. No, you have no idea what's going on some of the time, which I really enjoyed. It was genuinely mysterious. And within that, within the mystique of it all, there is the very real sense that this is like a Greek classic. It's like a Greek tragedy. There are parts of it where there seems to be an underlying magic to it all, and once you start to peel away the veneer of the secrecy and the mystique, there is this raw humanity and this bacchanalian richness, this rawness and visceral elements of humanity that they indulge in. If you like that sort of elements within classical literature, you'll probably enjoy that. I know I did. Okay, so here are some points that I thought weren't as good. So it can come across as quite elitist. The groups within it are quite snobby. Bunny in particular is the worst snob, and he really pissed me off at times. I got so annoyed at him. I was so glad when he finally died, but Donna Tartt does that very well. She does really lead you up to that, and I sort of felt that that was fine. I felt that characters annoyed me because they were meant to, not because she had written them badly, not at all. I am a socialist, as I'm sure you're aware if you've seen a couple of my other videos, and it really annoys me that Richard is from a working class family and he feels he has to hide that from the rest of them. I really wanted him to stand up and own it and say, you know what, I haven't had any private education, I've got here by myself and I'm still as good as you lot. I really wanted him to do that. I know that I am biased that way, so that's not really a massive issue in the whole thing. Another aspect was I found it slow going. I didn't struggle with it, but it took work. I couldn't just sit down and read it for hours and hours and hours. But I did find that rewarding, and sometimes it's nice to have something like that. Maybe this would be something nice to have on the side if you're reading other things and you want to, if you're reading, for example, if you're reading a lot of YA fiction, it sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, I'm not trying to insult it, but some of the time you can read it very easily, and sometimes it's nice to dip in and out of something else to give you a little bit more of a challenge. So maybe in that aspect you can think of it like that. So my final overview, this was her debut novel. This is amazing work. I really want to read more of her work. I would definitely read it again. Even if you have never read something quite like this, this is very accessible as a modern classic, so I would definitely recommend it if you want to try something a little more challenging. It's not hugely challenging, but I think you'll really like it. So my final rating is 4 stars. I really enjoyed this. I would definitely read it again. It's not one of my all-time favourite books, but I just really thought it was fantastic. Does this sound like something you would like to read? Have you read it? Did you like it? Did you find that it was elitist? Let me know in the comments. I'd be really interested to talk to people about this. If you like this video, please give it a like. If you want to see more of this sort of thing, stuff what I do, please subscribe. Next week I will be filming a video on Monday. It will be my massive TBR. I will be going through all of that and showing you how daunting it is. I'm sure it's not as big as some people's TBRs, but to have the majority of books that you have and look at them and realise you haven't read the majority of them is kind of scary. My next review is going to be posted in a week, so next Thursday, and it is going to be of The Glittering Court by Rochelle Mead. This is just a brief review. I am going to do it in far more detail on www.muchadoaboutnovels.com. I'll put the link in the description. So if you feel like checking that out and seeing more of my ideas in depth, please do. And I will see you on Monday. Bye bye.